Can you describe a little bit about how you grew up and where you grew up?
Well, I lived in a tent till I was 15. The referendum changed that. And but, you know, we didn't want for anything. We had good food, clean. And when I started producing art and talking about the camping ground, a lot of people used to say, well, gee, that must have been hard growing up without hot running water, and because everything was heated up in coppers, and I was in my element growing up on the creek. I mean, I always say I had 7 kilometres of playground, fishing holes, swimming holes. So that's why we didn't get to school sometimes.
And so, Laurie, your journey from the Bungle Creek to be a full-time artist educator, project director, all the things that you do today, went through a number of curves just like Bungle Creek did. Now, one of the best bits is when you're a jockey. Now, you left home before the other kids did and headed for Brisbane.
Yeah, I come down at 16, and we didn't do those sorts of things back in them days, but, you know, when you're young and you're reckless and you want to do silly things, that's one of the silly things I wanted to do. If I had my time over, I'd do it again.
Oh, yeah, that's a good thing, yeah. Now, Laurie, some parts of your artwork have really become a symbol of yourself. You know, people see any emu image and automatically think, Loz.
Yeah, there's a few things, I suppose, that have become a bit of a signature, I suppose. The barbed wire and the emus. I'm pretty passionate about the old emus because that's our totem.
Laurie, what drives you to make your art?
I don't know. I said to Gordon Hookie one day when we were in the studio, it's you know, when you're working on a piece and it's working out fine and you got to down tools and run off and do something, and you can't wait to get back and pick up where you left off, and that's when you're in the zone. And I just love making art, and I said to Gordon, it's a bit like you know, our ancestors, I suppose. It's the act of doing it that's important sometimes.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Now, some people, maybe not anybody, maybe just me, thinks that balanced 1990, because it got so many blackfellas into the gallery, and because it upturned the idea of doing a cleanly curated show that you know exactly what's going to happen before you get it in the gallery. That was nothing like that. It really turned the tables, yeah.
It was an absolutely huge show, and I still say it changed the landscape in Queensland, you know.
I would say, Laurie, that it also potentially changed the landscape internationally, because it then became a kind of a litmus test for the Queensland Art Gallery to think maybe we should go international. And very soon after that we had the first APT, the Asia Pacific Triennial, in 1993.
Well, I find I feel a little bit privileged, actually. I often explain to the students or younger artists that, like, it was a train that was leaving the station and I just happened to be there, so I jumped on.
So the old stock must go when the whole team got together and parked a van outside the Queensland Art Gallery during the Asia Pacific Triennial 2, which was in 1996.
That was cheeky, wasn't it?
That was so cheeky, Laurie. So you had this bloody van on the footpath outside when all the other artists who were in there were cramming to get inside the white walls of the Queensland Art Gallery, you know, big pomp and ceremony. What did you guys do?
We just parked it almost at the beginning of the bridge.
And what was in the truck?
It was a pretty well little retail shop. It was called All Stock Must Go. And it was about how art's a commodity And we had artists just sitting around painting and producing artworks and painting up the truck, and it was good. Yeah,
good one. Good one.
But political art is it's so necessary.
Why?
Well, I've seen a couple of times where you can put something up on the wall, and you can actually get a little bit of dialogue happening, whereas sometimes that just doesn't happen for one reason or another.
Do you think it's been a tool for the proppaNOW group, political art?
Oh, yeah. I suppose that's been the main driving thing behind proppaNOW is the type of art that some of the artists do.
Do you think it's made a difference, Laurie? What year did proppaNOW get set up?
96 or something. I was a member of it and I didn't know. I was away working.
And they rubbed you in.
And Alan Warry turned up. He said, "Your name's been bandied around in Brisbane a bit." And I said, "What for? I haven't been there to do anything." He said, "No, you're part of this What Now mob."